All right, welcome all of the people who have seen the first Leaf Green playthrough and the second one. This is the third installment in the Leaf Green trilogy, and will certainly not be the last one because I'm expecting we'll probably get to the at least the fifth gym, most likely here. But I decided I'm going to do something a little bit out of the ordinary for when I usually play through here. I've done a lot of grinding off screen because I wanted to start this off and actually have something that, has a little bit of background to it, whereas the other times it was just me kind of turning something on and then sort of decided to go in there. Let me say hello to Envoy. You came at the right time. I'm making fajita wraps right now. I didn't know you were so hungry. I had no idea. So I only have one member of my team, and we're going to go into that little lair that's in Saffron City with Team Rocket and see if we can beat them all. Let me turn off these notifications. I always hate that this is with these devices where they have the little noises that go off and you can't stop it, or when I turn on the stream, it'll just be conveniently in the background. Like how obnoxious, right? On here. Well, this is what me playing at normal speed looks like. Aren't you glad it's sped up? Let me say hello to Ruben. I have to say this is probably the most, and this is the thing with every game. There's always some part that I really, really don't like because there's backtracking and walking around involved, and you just kind of get there seems to be a higher tendency of not remembering where to go. This is a wonderful selection. You saw how quickly we went out. I wasn't expecting even to have that happen yet. That one hit wonder. So let's go in there with the tanks. That was spectacular. Glad everybody got to see that amazing fight that had us all biting our nails trying to figure out who was going to win between the evolved type advantage and the unevolved disadvantage. No one could have seen that coming. Let's try this again and make you think you actually have a chance. If I'm remembering correctly, I think Machamp is the only trade evolving Pokemon you can get in this. Because I know, or at least if I'm remembering correctly, you can't get Gengar, which is why I never have one of those. Because with ROMs, you can't trade. I mean, it's the same thing with Pikachu, where I guess it would make more sense to have the evolved form, but I do. They're just more iconic. Let's put it that way. They're more recognizable. If that answers the inquiry. But I love that the retroactive, strange parts of the franchise, kind of like how you can still get male Gardevoirs if you trade from Gen 3. Anything where they basically had one way of doing something and then they changed it later on, and then it's still possible to get something that they try to now pretend doesn't exist. Because they could have easily applied that into the lore of just, oh, well, at a time, this form, both genders could be whatever, but they decide, no, we're gonna retcon it, even though our retcon doesn't work because the original is still there. People know that that existed. Ah, small. All these moves are all the type, uh, the accuracy one. The ones mess with the accuracy. The ones that put the conditions. They're all so obnoxious. Oh, Envoy! I found out what that noise was that I had made during the previous stream when we were in the that tower, Lavender Town. Like, "Oh," the ghastly thing. Oh, we know they're separate. That's why Envoy was bashing my decision to use Nido Queen instead of Nido King. I told him I have no problem using Nido King, but they have it to where it's much more difficult to encounter the male Nidoran in Leaf Green than it is to get it in Fire Red. So if I play through that, I can probably get it there. It's like how we have Snorlax coming up. I don't intend to get that for this, but for Fire Red, I would. Just try to change it up a little bit. Variants. Remember, the key to get for in here is really. It reminds me of a lot of just Generation One because, well, even though this is a remake of that, but when you do HMs, even in this, they still put up on the screen. You can use an HM because you have something in your party with that kind of move. Would you like to use that? Here, they just put that important key item in the background. And you're like, oh, I hope you eventually stumble across it. Too bad Arbok didn't age as well. Yeah, I told you how there was a person who was like, oh, you should play through this with, like how they always try to make the game more challenging than it has to be. They said get Arbok, Weezing, Lickitung, what's the other one? Victory Bell, and then Meowth, and then play through it as Team Rocket. And I said, you actually can't do that because two of those, I think it's Ekans and Arbok are exclusive to Fire Red, and then the Bellsprout and its evolution line, or there's some kind of thing we're involved in there. But basically, you can't have both, or they're both version exclusives to one or the other. Whenever they do those things about playing with a specific team, I get really interested because it's nice to see the creativity that's associated with just any of these games because it's something that the fans have decided to do themselves. Like how when I was talking about Flair, where no one told him to make a backwards version of this, but he did, and he added all kind of new stuff that I think makes the game, even though it's a ROM hack, still have a fulfilling experience because it does things that are not usually in there. I'm so flattered, Envoy. I I I could almost blush. What a delightful thing to say. That must be my belated Valentine's Day present. Like, well, we couldn't give it to you in February, so we'll just wait a couple. We'll just wait a month to get around to saying it, or almost 3 weeks rather. Like my accuracy of time. I just realized, and I actually because like I said before, I like to play through the entirety of a game before doing it on here, just so I can have some kind of heightened familiarity, if you can call it that. There's actually a thing I forgot to mention, which is that I think this is the only game where you can get the badges, or some of them, in an order that's not the intended order. So, for example, um, when I played through this previously in Fire Red, I was able to beat Koga before Sabrina, which is not what you're supposed to do, and then fight Blaine. And so, literally, the fifth gym ended up becoming the seventh gym. There we go. Now things get exciting. I know it was somewhere, but I just always forget what exactly where you're supposed to go. That's why it takes longer than any of the other story related parts of the franchise. Oh yeah, this crap. Are we healed up enough? Yeah, we can take him. We can stand up to the challenge of our rival. Really should have used Pikachu here, but whatever. It's all good. He can redeem itself right here. I hope you treat all. Yeah, I treat them all like that. That definitely. Oh, I love how our fire type doesn't actually have any. I take that back. That's not true. Well, of course, it's the biggest tactical error I've made in the game so far, evolving this that quickly. Like right after getting, I was like, oh, we gotta get that Firestone. But at least we can get a fire move after beating Blaine. I really made the grass starter very like intimidating here because it's got poison, so it stands up pretty well against the rest of the group here. Like, please leave, thank you. I think you can skip this fight by going on that side, but I'll fight him anyway. Not too imposing. Good here. Miscalculated again. I could have used Jigglypuff here. What a even battle that was. Wow. Oh man, I should use that. You know, I got this. Nap. Wow, I got right back. Oh, every time I use Sing, that thing always misses. It's like that move is cursed, where if I use it, it'll either miss, or if it hits, it'll only last for like one turn. And it was like, oh, I woke right up. We might actually lose this. Because the one person with the type advantage is unfortunately out of commission for the most part. That's gonna help a little bit. And Ninetales is better than I thought. Just rest up Jigglypuff. Give it 2 turns out. How do you scare something while it's asleep? That's weird. Please give us our Master Ball. Thank you. Who's poisoned? I can put them in there and then they can get rid of that. Oh yeah, this is another thing I like to do if I'm losing or if I not losing. Um, whenever I have trouble getting out of one of these areas, I'll purposefully faint so I can, go back to wherever the center is. Yeah, for some reason Vaporeon seems to be the most popular out of those first gen Eevee forms, from what I've noticed. I had another person who said that too. I wasn't actually because, like I said, I don't need Flareon because I have Ninetales, even though I wanted to have some actual fire type moves. I don't need Jolteon because I have Pikachu, and I didn't plan on using Vaporeon because I have Squirtle. So basically, every form it can take, I've got something that pretty much can cover the same ground, for lack of a better term. And on getting Dratini so we could have a flying type that could kind of round out the whole group. Skip these guys and go straight to the thing everybody wants to see. Let's do this. What was that? Yeah, use your hyper potion. It's not going to make a difference. You still aren't going to win this fight. It's over. Maybe not this fight, but the overall battle I will win. A lovely fight. Oh, I forgot about that move. Ooh, that's over. Can we do damage to that thing? Are we fast enough? Probably not. Oh wow, just barely got us. I'll try to use a potion. Oh, never mind. Well, we got our badge. No, Envoy. I have Spiro and Pidgeotto. But again, like I said before, I like to have a diversity of what I use in each game. I think the only one I use in every game is Pikachu, and that's only because that's the mascot. Where could we go wrong with such an iconic character? Let's see, how much cash we have? 'How 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 much cash Dratini is a pseudo legendary. Why would we not want that? And now they want my money after telling me I couldn't. They didn't want to talk to me since I didn't have a coin case. I always love when I get to a point in the game where I basically caught everything I want to catch, so I can just kind of be, up until the league anyway, lackadaisical with funding and whatnot. Take a lot more risk. You don't need to go down there. Oh, we need that HM. Oh, the joys and wonders of HM moves. Artificially inflating your party for 20 years up until they got rid of it. Okay, so I think that the my least favorite parts of the game are probably going in that one cave to get to Lavender Town, and then also maybe because anytime there's some really big journey to get somewhere, you like a bird. The only thing I don't like about Routini is how long it takes to evolve. Learn this? No. I need any more damage being done. Oh yeah, that yeah. I was shocked when they did because I always kept a flying type other than maybe Charizard just for that move, just for fly. Oh, gotta get the flute. Always forget that that's there. Let's see if we can say backtrack very quickly. And the saddest thing is, this isn't even the game with the most HM. I think that like the two generations people complain about HMs the most are in Gen 3 and Gen 4. I think Gen three's Victory Road makes you have to use like five of them. It's really ridiculous. Insane for the membrane. He blew his coins when he gave me the thing. In corner, man at the table. Crimea River. Why are they still here? Nothing there. Okay, there's Fly. Yay, double battle. Only we had Surf. I'm gonna hit you both with Bubble. Yeah, that does so much damage. Here. Oh yeah, only time Rapidash ever mattered outside of the original like opening for the show was in Gen 4, like for being the only fire type you had access to if you didn't get Shimsa. Those are its two moments of spotlight. Listen, back down here. Put that tree down. What is even over here? Oh, usual. Where's that guy? I don't want your name, nickname, or rate names or any of that. I must have spotted it. Oh, here we go. Let's do this. I can't believe neither of you told me that the flute was right there. I went to that town for nothing. Oh my god. Only thing I got from that town was the HM. But what a sick thing. I struggled to find the item I needed. You sat there with grins and giggles. Ooh, I hope he keeps backtracking. It's in here. Let's explore. Let's just keep seeing Pidgey. Pidgey, 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 Pidgey. The only thing they have in this likely story, Ruben. You colluded with Envoy to make sure I wouldn't know where it was. We're gonna appoint a special counsel to investigate you on on these allegations I'm levying. Favorite episode? Usually if it's one of I'm trying to think. I really like the finale of the Orange Island just because Ash actually wins. And I like that they didn't just make it, oh, I'll just send out Charizard and everything's fine. But they all have to team up against Dragonite. If it's not that, it's usually an episode where he catches something I like. Aren't you guys supposed to be in divorce court? She shouldn't be. She shouldn't even be here. She should be levying charges of abuse and fraud on your part. I always really liked that one episode from Battle Frontier where he brought back his like original team or whatever, and then uh, to fight Brandon or Brendan, the king of the what was it, the king of the pyramid or something like that. But I love how when he brings out Charizard, the expectation is, oh, it's his strongest one. It's definitely going to pull the most weight, and then it literally is the only one to get knocked out without doing anything. Pretty much every time it's been used post the original series, it's kind of like whatever, or just it's meant to not like it's meant to be this big triumphant return, but it never pads out. It sounds familiar. I must have only seen it once or twice, maybe. Taking that for a while. I would love that to just fight, like actually have a one of these battles, and if they were in real life, and then just whatever is you're using doesn't even just so tired it doesn't care, like it goes to sleep, like just like with Charizard. That's how little respect it has for the battle and its trainer. Like, oh, you need me to help you? Well, too bad. Like I catch my Z. Oh well. Oh, I really like Johto Rubin's probably my favorite region, all things considered. Yeah, that's the problem with live action. They never can just outright, like, there's this weird temptation when people adapt something to make it different just for the sake of putting their own spin on it. Because it's really easy to just use the CGI models from like the games to make them appear in real life. It's not that hard. But for whatever reason they want to show you how impressive they are by making everything darker and edgier in appearance. Yeah, Ruben, I was saying that I really like Johto. Um, I stopped watching the show usually, if I remember correctly, after season 8 because they changed the voice actors, and I think they sound pretty god awful. You watch the sub instead. That's like the big event, though. Yeah, I'm good. I'm done. I'm good. Always telling us his whole personal story, learning all this detailed information about him. I can't wait for him to tell us about how he loves long walks on the beach. Oh no, we're out of moves. Almost. It's like, please send somebody else out. We would love to hit them too. Envoy's going to give us a whole detailed list of all of his information. I'm going to figure out how to put the chat in the video just to make sure that that's always there next time, as a way of permanently cementing your decision to reveal these intimate details about yourself. There's something important in here. Let me see if I can find it. Also, I just remembered that the only way to get EXP share is to catch 50. I don't even know why I threw the. Let me get away. The only way to get the EXP share is to catch 50 different types or 50 different species, which I think is completely ridiculous. Because I mean, if it were any other generation, basically, I would get that. The fact I have to catch a third of what it's supposed to be, actually, not even a third, because all the legendaries and a lot of this stuff you can't even find in the wild. Just it just feels increasingly ridiculous. Basically, what I'm saying. Go in here. I just hate the Safari Zone so much. I can't weaken anything. I just have to pray that it lands, that it sticks. I think it's Parasect and Ammonite that just creep me out. They're like their designs. If I want to just have a spooky team of stuff that upsets me or unsettles me, I'll get both of them. It's mostly just because their eyes are just in the way they're done. Protein. Out of here, Nidorina. I already have Nidoqueen. I don't need you. Where's the guy? Oh, here it is. Watch Reza get up to him. It's like, oh, thank you for not actually being able to do this. Or like, oh, ding ding, time's up. Right as I go through the door. He got really close, but it wasn't close enough. So close. I turned the speed off to just to make it even more like wondering of what's gonna happen. Ah, no wonder Ash never caught them all. It's so difficult. I didn't even know Chansey was in here. I forgot. They have a lot of good stuff in here. It's just so difficult to catch it because of the thing I mentioned earlier. Jesus. I might end up going back to how was that? One where you can get Eevee and just not even evolving it, just using its base form, which I probably save maybe two or three of its evolutions like more than the evolutions themselves. Really, there's just this little small group of where I just prefer the base form over stuff that comes afterwards. Oh my god, I'm so scared. When somebody else a shot. But there's really a 10 level gap between it and everything else. That's crazy. I'm surprised, Ruben. I can't believe it. I thought that was almost a unanimous decision. But you're not the first person to prefer the middle stage of something over the final form. I mentioned before, every time I get Chikorita, I never, almost never get Meganium unless it's just me trying to fill up the decks. Because I just think Bayleaf looks a hell of a lot better. Yeah, me neither, Envoy. But again, he's entitled to his position. I think like my ideal Generation 2 team would be all of the like all the Johto starters, Tyranitar, and Crobat. I think Generation One's the only. It has so much stuff that is desirable, and a lot of the stuff that is considered not desirable is just gone up in its interest. Oh, you mean like the big mouth and everything? Ah, all this poison. He's here again. I'm not gonna have my highest leveled member uh, start the fight off, falling in terms of its health. No, we're good. Yeah, the only Gen 2 starter that I'm okay with whatever way it goes, like all of its forms, and just all right with are Cyndaquil. It's Cyndaquil rather. But I'm not a fan of. I think Crocodile's all right, but Totodile is just, I think, more preferable. I think everybody does. I know the writers did because their whole thing was we don't want just a Bulbasaur repeat by having it be in its first stage the entire time. It's funny how you can kind of impugn the motives of the writers based off of just what they choose to evolve and whatnot. Oh, you saw that Jigglypuff almost took out the whole team by itself. Crazy. Oh, of course. What a great blessing that was to me for that to. Oh, you man. He's nervous now. He realizes that this is the end of the road for him. Do you think that could be the mascot of? Let me say hello to Luca. Um, I'm not really shy. Like, I think Munchlax had really good potential, but they kind of squandered it by not doing anything with it its first gen. It had, like, if it's anything that's not a regular starter, I'd probably say Munchlax one of the best choices. But they just don't care. 'Cause I prefer Squirtle to its evolved forms. I mean, whenever I do the inevitable Fire Red playthrough, I evolve Charmander because that's the only one of the Candle starters I like the evolved forms of. At least more than its base form, anyway. Well, I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.